Eliezer Nahum Z'tl Livracha, very, very great rabbi of his time. Now, I'm not too sure the exact date of his passing. It's reported over that was in the month of Cheshvan, but I'm not too sure the exact date. And I believe he was born in the English year 1662 and passed away in 1744. He was about 82 years of age at the time he passed away. Now, become the head of Jewish court. He will be a Rosh Yeshiva in Adrianople in Turkey, respectively. He would author various great Torah works. He will actually make Aliyah to the land of Israel and will become the 6th Rishon Lציon, a very prominent position. I believe it was actually from the year 1730, if I'm not mistaken, possibly till the time period he passed away. So I'm not too sure the exact dates and everything else, but there wouldn't be another Rishon Lציon, I believe, till around 1744, 1745 actually. So very interesting. Now let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. It will be very interesting to explore over here. Rabbi Eliezer Nahum. Okay, so he was born, as we said before, in 1662, and I think in the city of Istanbul. Very, very prominent place there was in Turkey at that point in time, and his father's name was Rabbi Nahum. While he was young, he would learn under the auspices of another famous rabbi, I believe we've mentioned before in this series, under Rabbi Yaakov Strimer, I believe. He happened to be it's reported over, he was a brother of the famous printer, Rav Shabtai Bas. Reported over. He happened to be a bibliographer. Rav Shabtai Bas and had various famous positions in the printing field. Very, very interesting enough. So he would, I believe, the rabbi himself will migrate from Poland to Egypt and eventually end up in Adrianople, where he would head a large yeshiva. This was very interesting. Rabbi Yaakov Shrimer in of itself. Now, Rabbi Eliezer Nahum was known for his great humility and diligence within regards to the realms of studying Torah. He would serve for several years as the head of the Jewish court over there, a very, very prominent position it was. He would become a head of yeshiva in Turkey, in Adrianople. And for a period of time, I think he would have to move to the area of Constantinople, I think where modern day Istanbul is, for one reason or another, and he would establish a large yeshiva and teach Torah to many students over there. He would serve as rabbi in various different communities, various different prominent positions, let's just say in of itself. Once he was there, he would also do huge amounts of kiruv work, garner many Talmudei Chachamim, and would be the Kehila in the Indrani area, I think in Kush, in Istanbul, respectively, over there. Now, it's actually interesting. I believe he would get married. His wife was actually from the family of Rav Raphael Karo. So he was married the widow, I think, of Rav Raphael Karo. He would get married to. Rav Raphael Karo, I think, was a famous rabbi of his time. So it's reported over he would marry the widow of the great rabbi. And so then afterwards, while he was in Turkey, he was asked by the Tzfat community to serve as Shluchei D'Rabbanan for them and to visit various different areas in Turkey. Obviously, a Shluchei D'Rabbanan was a very prominent position where a head rabbi would go to various different places, raise funds, mitzchazek, strengthen those communities respectively. So he would travel around Turkey representing Tzfat in Israel. Remember, Tzfat is one of the 4 holy cities of Israel. And I think, come with the Hebrew year, Hey Taf Ayin Hey, he would go to Thessaloniki. There will be a first port. Remember, Thessaloniki, in of its time, Greece, had a huge Jewish community over there, and he was representing there. Then later on, he would immigrate to Israel. It's reported over that on his way to the land of Israel, remember in those days, when you travel to Eretz Israel, it wasn't as easy as nowadays where you take a flight to and from El Al or one of these flights. You would have to embark on a ship, and it would take many lengthy time period. It's reported over a storm broke out at sea, and the ship almost broke. On this occasion, it's reported over he would actually author a piyut. He'd author a piyut of thanks in remembering this actual miracle in of itself. I think it's actually starting with the words Azameh B'Tro'ah. I believe this famous piyut in of itself. So I recommend everyone to look into that and learn it also. There was great poverty at that point in time, but he would study diligently Torah and really promote Torah all throughout the city of Jerusalem, the holy city of Jerusalem. Several years later, there was a passing of Rabbi Benjamin HaKohen Me'eli, he happened to be a famous rabbi. I think he actually himself happened to be a famous Jerusalem rabbi and a Kabbalist, and he himself was a Syrian born of Aleppo. So he was chosen to fill his place as a Rishon Lezion. That would mark him as the sixth Rishon Lezion, chief rabbi of Jerusalem, very prominent position. And that day. So I think that would be a position he would hold until the date of his passing. So if I'm not mistaken, it would have been approximately about 14 years. It will only be in 1940. It will be in the year 1745 when Rabbi Nisim Chaim Moshe Mizrahi will actually take his place. Now he passed away, I believe. It was in the English year. 1744. He was 82 years of age at the time, passed away. Now he wrote great Torah books. Let's explore some of them, including the Chazon, נחום, which is a Perush or the Mishnah, respectively. That was divided up into three sections. Then there was the Otiot Eliezer, which was, let's say, various different difficulties and writings within regards to Shas and the Poskim, the Talmud Babli. It was in a manuscript form. Respectively. Then the Milvat Olot, there was a Perush on the Sefer HaItur. This happened to be Sefer on Halacha, which I think was actually authored in the 11 or 1200s, if I'm not mistaken, by Rabbi Yitzchak ben Abba Mari, Marasilia, I believe. I hope I pronounced his name right. Then there was the Mishnat Rabbi Eliezer, which is a shoot, She'elot Shuvot, question and answers on halacha and various different maaseh. Then the Midrash Eliezer, which is Perush on Mechilta, respectively. That would actually come out, I'm not sure the exact year, I think through Rav Nisim, respectively. Then there was a Midrash Eliezer, which is a Perush explanation on the Sifrei, respectively, of the Menachem Kahana, respectively. Menachem Kahana, I think later on, Menachem Yitzchak Kahana, it was I think a professor, if I'm not mistaken, once again through maybe the publishing house of Harav Nisim, respectively, who happened to be very famous. So we're not too sure the date of his Hilula. I believe it's in the month of Cheshvan. It's reported over, and he was a very famous rabbi of his time. Remember, his rabbi was Rabbi Yaakov Shtrima. Now, I believe he would have very famous students, including the famous Chida, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azilei, also another famous rabbi, Rabbi Binyamin Kazim, who would be one of the famous rabbis of Kushta also. Another one, Rav Shlomo Shalem, another great rabbi. I believe we've actually did a video on, covered him. And Rav Abraham Ben Avigdor, another great rabbi, I believe. He happened to be rabbi of the Ottoman Empire, I believe, and is there also in Adrianopole. And hopefully we'll cover these great chachamim in separate videos afterwards. So friends, we are a community here. We're learning about the great Oriental rabbis of yesteryear. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe now. We are nearly on 7,000 subscribers. If you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these videos, share the videos to those people respectively. And also, if you happen to descend from any of the great rabbis we are speaking about here, please let me know, send me a comment. Now, he was also, just to add on, he was buried in Har HaZeitim, the burial plot, that's Mount Olive's burial plot, in Jerusalem, in Israel, respectively. Now, we're about to come inside Shabbat, Parashat Achrimot, and Kedoshim, just in within the next half an hour here from Israel. So on that note, I will wish you all a Shabbat Shalom and Brach. Take care, and blessings here from Israel, and watch your space for more great content videos.